Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. The Saints did well. Good job, Mickey. That was a great job. I applaud everything that went on last night because the Saints had the opportunity to get antsy. They had the opportunity to get antsy. When I saw Fashanu go off the board, I was thinking, okay, here he goes. They're going to do something rash because they feel like they've got to make a move, and they did not have to make a move. I am obviously not prepared to tell you about the exact player that the Saints took in terms of his NFL prospects. Like, nobody knows about the draft. It's a crapshoot at the first pick and at the last pick. You might have Peyton Manning. You might have Ryan Leaf. You might have Brock Purdy. I don't know what you got. But the process that the Saints went through to make their selection and the player they selected makes all the sense in the world. Again, it doesn't mean it's going to work, but the process was sound. They could have mortgaged some picks to try to go up and make sure they get someone they think can play left tackle. They didn't. They sat where they were. They protected the 2025 Saints and the 2026 Saints. And they made a reasonable selection with the 14th pick. By now you know that was Taliese Fuaga, the offensive tackle from Oregon State. 6'6", 324. I kind of went back and looked kind of his run there at Oregon State, and he's exactly what you would have imagined a first-round draft choice out of Oregon State would be. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of Tacoma, Washington. He was ranked in the thousands by 24/7, and he took a gradual progression to being an All-American and first-round pick. In 2020, the COVID year, when the Pac-12 was really in flux, that was his first year. And he played in 4 games in that wacky season. So he doesn't count for anybody. He comes back as a freshman in 2021 and plays in 10 games. Probably a lot on some special teams units and whatnot. But becomes a starter his third year as a sophomore and was a second-team All-Pac-12 player as a full-time starter in his third year as a sophomore. In his 4th year in college as a junior, because he didn't count the COVID year, he becomes a first-team All-American by the Football Writers Association, CBS, ESPN, Pro Football Focus, receives a first-round grade, and goes with the 14th pick in the first round. That is the dream for Oregon State. It's not the dream necessarily for LSU, Alabama, Ohio State, or Georgia. They're looking for guys that are more surefire, and I use air quotes there, 5-star, 4-star players, but Oregon State's not going to get those. They get a guy out of the state of Washington in Tacoma that's a 3-star that's got some measurables, got an attitude, and they develop him over 4 years to becoming an All-American and a first-round pick. And, again, we talked for 2 months, really, but really on my show, 10 days, about the process here for the Saints and not overreacting to the left side of the line because Penning's a question mark and Pete's still a free agent and Hurst is retired and we don't have anybody that can play left tackle. Maybe Ramczyk can be the right tackle, so we need to address the other side. How do we trade up and make sure somebody that plays the left side? They didn't do that. They did not do that. They took, in my opinion, the heir apparent to Ryan Ramczyk. And maybe that's the first game of 2024 because Ryan Ramczyk is retired. Maybe that's the 6th game of 2024 because Ryan Ramczyk simply can't go anymore. And maybe that's the first game of 2025. I don't know when it is, but he's very likely, in my opinion, your right tackle of the future. That's the plan. Could be Trevor Penning and it doesn't work out, but that's the plan. You look at what ESPN has to say about Fuaga, and I'll certainly trust them a ton more than I'm going to trust myself on player evaluations. And they believe that this is a very quality player. The blurb here that's written by Matt Miller says Fuaga is an outstanding run blocker with the strength to move defenders off the ball. He's got initial quickness to reach defenders on zone runs. He takes sound angles working up to the second level. He's a brawler who blocks to the echo of the whistle, buries defenders. He's also smooth getting set, has a powerful punch, uses his independent hands and pass protection. all the buzzwords for offensive line, but apparently this guy's big, he's nasty, he plays on the right side, he loves to run block. Good. I'm thrilled with what they've done there. You did not have to address left tackle specifically with this pick. Mekhi Becton's a free agent. You've got other guys that you could look at with some concerns here or there. And I would suggest if you look up at Green Bay that there's a guy that is a free agent that doesn't play very often. But David Bakhtiari might be an option for you for a year. And all of that falls in line with my belief system of the New Orleans Saints, which is you're not playing for this year. You're trying to sturdy the franchise, which is shaky all over the place. This is not plugging a hole. It's relaying the foundation. And Taliese Fuaga makes a ton of sense there. He might be a flat bust out of the league in 3.5 years. But that doesn't mean that the process that they went through was flawed. That just means the evaluation was flawed. And I can't sit here and speak to the evaluation of an offensive tackle from the Pac-12 to the NFL. That is not my corner of the store. I feel, accurately or at least intelligently discuss the plan. And at times the Saints have missed the mark by basically everybody. And we'll talk about the Falcons later. But this makes all the sense in the world. So now you sit here feeling like you've brought in a starter in the first round. You've got options in round 2. You are the 13th selection of the second round. And we all kind of feel like it's reasonable to suggest that the Saints would go pass rusher or offensive line again. As I look at the offensive tackles and offensive guards available, I can't really speak too much about these guys. I don't know. I'm not going to go watch a ton of film of BYU's right tackle. That's not going to be compelling radio for you, and it's not going to give you a lot of interesting information. If they take an offensive lineman with the 13th pick today, I think that's great. I think that's fine. I think that's reasonable. The pass catchers I can speak to a little bit more because they catch the ball and they're on the highlight reels, and I've heard of a lot of them. A.D. Mitchell's probably not going to be there at the 13th pick today. Ladd McConkey could be, and I think that would be great for the Saints. We talked about that on the stream yesterday. I would suggest that Matt would be slightly opposed to Ladd McConkey, if we're putting it mildly. Matt used some more colorful language to describe Ladd McConkey. I'll just say I think he's fine. I think he's pretty good. Keon Coleman is a Louisiana product. We saw him way too much in Orlando. Big physical body, can go up and make catches. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. The two Washington stud receivers after Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk and Jalen McMillan, also very likely there, and I think make a lot of sense. Tony Franklin, explosive wide receiver from Oregon, makes a lot of sense. We saw Roman Wilson make huge plays time and time again from Michigan. All these guys are likely going to be there with the 13th pick today, and I'd be just fine if the Saints took one of those as well. You really can't go too wrong here if you're in New Orleans outside of trading picks away. And I'm a broken record there, but I mean it. And right now, as we sit here and look at what they did yesterday, it makes a lot of sense, and you should feel comfortable if you're the Saints that a quality player is going to be there with the 13th pick today. It's the same thing I said about the Saints sitting there yesterday at 14. Like I said, I promise you there is a tackle on the board at 14 who will play 10 years in the NFL. I promise you that exists. It's up to your personnel and scouting department to figure out who that is based on the guys that have already come off the board. I promise it exists. You don't have to go up to 9 to get a tackle that can play for 10 years. I feel the same way with this pick. I promise you there is a quality tackle there with the 13th pick of the second round. I promise you there's a quality guard there with the 13th pick of the second round. I promise you there's a quality receiver there with the 13th pick of the seventh round. That is non-debatable. You just have to find them. That's the goal for the Saints moving forward. Now, we'll see what happens once you get past this second pick, the second round pick, because those fifth-round picks are burning a hole in Mickey's pocket, and we know it by now. But as we sit here today with one round in the books, I think Mickey did a very, very good job. Beck, you were watching last night. Anything that I've said that you would agree or disagree with there?
I agree with everything you said. I do think, though, that there are a lot of people who kind of make fun of Ladd McConkey. His name is Ladd.
That is correct.
It's pretty funny. He's 6'8", 186. He's very small.
He's not very small.
He's not. Yeah, but he's thin. He's 6 foot, which is not bad. But he's thin.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a couple of months ago during the Reese's Senior Bowl, I remember seeing tweet after tweet of guys saying Ladd McConkey is beating everybody.
And he ran a 4.39.
And he ran a 4.39. So I don't care what his name is or what he looks like. Either way, if he's going to be Wes Welker, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, he's white. I mean, Wes Welker was slow and shorter.
Yeah.
McConkey is a guy that's going to, I think, we had a very, very heated discussion last night about Ladd McConkey. I think there were a few beverages involved in that discussion. Hanny and I said, we think he's fine. We think he's a good player. We didn't say he's a first-team All-Pro. We didn't say he's going to make the Pro Bowl. We didn't even say the Saints better take him. We said, yeah, I think he's going to be fine. And Matt said he's the worst player he's ever seen. So we'll see. I'm sure Matt will elaborate on that a little bit later on his show. And we all kind of think that we'd like to see Ladd McConkey go for the Saints because Matt might blow a gasket on Monday. So we'll see how that all goes. But I think the Saints did a good thing last night, and I think that they've got an opportunity to do some more really good things today and moving forward. So we'll see. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.